You guys introduce yourselves.
Oh, I'm Ron Ferrara. I am with the other office. And this gentleman invited me to speak about scripts and dialogues, and that's my passion because I'm on the phone 3-4 hours a day. I call all different sources of people, and I love it. I love talking to people. So hopefully can help you guys
learn something from it. And I'm Demetrios from Contour Mortgage. I'm on Angelo Gionis' team. I'm sure some of you should know Angelo. And I just came to help support and give some info on the importance of scripts and being on the phone and staying in contact with all the leads.
And you guys know me already, I'm up Saint-Gerard. Quick question, how many of you guys practice role play? Raise your hand. How many people practice role playing? Raise your hand.
Overwhelming.
Higher. All right.
I want to ask a question about that.
Go
Can
ahead.
you define what that means? Like, Tim, I'd like to know what you mean when you raise your hand and say you practice role play.
Is you're basically having dialogue, basically, of what conversation that you have with your seller or your buyer. Go ahead, you wanna define?
I mean, role playing could be anything, but like with Calvin, whenever he's getting prepared to make an offer, we sit down and kind of get the way this conversation could go with the agents, what different objections they can have, what sort of objection handlers you want to use in those situations.
Okay, that answers my question.
All right, so basically, all of you should be practicing role play. Whether you're practicing with somebody else, I would suggest basically you record yourself going over what your conversation is going to be with your buyer, with your seller, or with another agent, whatever it is, record yourself. That way you can see what your tonality is. Pretend that basically you are another agent and watching, or you're the customer watching that conversation. Does what you say compel that person to do what you need them to do? So it's very crucial that you role play as many times as possible. I role play Mondays. I have one person to role play with. I have somebody on Tuesday. I just got a fourth person, 2 or 3 other people basically to role play with. So role play as many times, and it doesn't have to be with the same person. Each time you role play, it could be a different scenario. So whether you're door knocking, whether you're prospecting, whether you're doing a buyer seminar, you're doing a seller consultation, buyer consultation, whatever it is, you should role play. So that way when you're talking to whoever your audience is, it comes out naturally for you. And it doesn't matter what the script is. We have a bunch of scripts there. You say it many times basically until you make it your own. And pretty much when you have a conversation with that person, it's like, wow, I actually know what I'm talking about. That flowed. Go ahead.
Sorry. So I'd like to know if it's considered role play. So I don't do traditional role playing. I haven't found a role play partner that works for me. But I speak to 1 million people a day, and I feel like I'm always honing whatever it is, my script. So is that not the same kind
No,
of thing?
it's not.
Okay.
It's basically, I'm trying to think of a way to answer that. It's basically if you're running for the triathlon or whatever, you don't just run in the triathlon. You have to practice first. You have to condition your body, condition your mind, your mindset. You have to practice. Just pretend that pretty much anytime you're dealing with a client, future client, soon-to-be client, whatever the case may be, you have to practice what you're saying. Because if you don't say it the right way, how do you know that what you're saying, you're communicating the right way, and also your body tone, how you position yourself. If you seem nervous, do you think your client's going to be, okay, I definitely want to work with this person? If you sound and feel confident, do you think your client's going to be, I'm confident I can work with this person can get me from point A to point B? I'm just asking the question.
Oh, well, you know, I mean, I don't lack confidence, so that's not
All right,
that's
so
not a problem.
I'm glad you
in my
said that.
conversation.
So
Yeah.
you don't lack confidence. Imagine if you fine tune what you're saying, if you practice with Albert right there,
Yeah.
or whoever you're comfortable
But
with.
like, I just wanna give an example, like today I went out to breakfast with a former client and, you know, you never know where new business is going to come from. I take those opportunities to go through, I like run my scripts.
Do you run
whatever
the
that-
scripts in your head, or do you say them out loud just to see how you're coming off?
Yeah, I say them,
All right.
I talk them through.
Can I
So
give
know-
you can I give you a piece of
Mhm,
advice?
sure.
Somebody told me this a while back. Get a mirror. I know it sounds corny. Get a mirror. Stand up when you're role playing, and see how you're coming off. Because if you're slouching when you're talking, especially if you're on the phone or you have a communication, body language accounts for a lot of your communication. It's sometimes it's what you're saying, but it's also factors in how you're positioned, how you're dressed, what mannerisms you have, and you talk with your hands, and you have to know who you're talking to also. So if the person basically is an analytical person, maybe not be too distracting. If they're an analytical person, basically,
That meant for me.
I talk with my hands a lot also, so they can, whoever it applies to, whoever you're talking to, you should also know who you're gonna be speaking to. I know you practice a lot, Carl, I'm putting you on the spot. You practice your scripts and whatnot. Thank you for making it here, by the way. So pretty much,
So that's what I was trying to get at, like, I feel like I practice my scripts. And I feel like because of.
keep practicing,
Yeah,
that's all I
I
can
just
tell you.
feel like I do, and I just am curious if I can call myself, yes, I practice my scripts.
A true role play practice is basically practicing with somebody else. That's how you get feedback.
But that's what I mean.
No, but you have to practice with somebody else.
Yeah.
You're not gonna get feedback if you're practicing by yourself.
No, I never practice by myself.
But if
That's
you're,
what I'm
let's say
saying.
you have two people in front of you, you
Yeah.
practice with him and he's taking notes, you're the,
That's
you're,
a different thing, I don't do that.
you
Yes.
should open yourself up and do that, cause basically you'll see basically, oh wow, I think my message is coming across, but you know what, if I listen to this person's feedback, maybe if I tweak this, oh wow, this can improve my conversation to whoever I'm speaking to. So I would say take your ego out of when you're role playing, cause a lot of us, we all have egos, we're like, I know what I'm doing, I know how to talk, blah, blah, blah. But if you just took something and tweaked it, just a little bit, maybe that can help you get from point A to point B, and you're like, wow, you know what, because I made this little change, my conversation, my confidence got a little better, or a lot better, and the clients they don't seem to be lost, they actually understand where we're going with the conversation, and I'm getting to sign the paperwork. That's what we all want, sign the paperwork, we wanna get appointments, get the paperwork signed, and go on to the next conversation. One of the easiest scripts, like I'm gonna keep pointing out to the script books that we have in the back, there's 2 of them there. Familiarize yourself with those scripts. A lot of people, with the hesitation they're using scripts is basically, this doesn't sound like me. It doesn't matter what, you know, if it sounds like you or not. The whole point is for you to get comfortable with, this is proven material that's worked for so many other people. If it's successful, alright, let me break it down this way. If I got Magic Johnson's playbook of how to play better basketball, would I take it?
Hopefully.
Alright, so think of, I'm trying to think of a millionaire. Give me a millionaire's name right now. Warren
Billionaire
Buffett.
or a billionaire?
Billionaire.
Billionaire.
Warren Buffett, if he had his playbook of how to make money quickly without thinking, would you take that playbook?
Yeah.
You guys don't sound enthusiastic, let's do that.
I would also say, let me add to this also, it depends on what sources you're calling. Are you expanding the sources? Like, there's many sources you could practice for sale by owner, expired, your database, and I feel like the scripts will probably help you be more targeted and it's really just a game plan. It's like, how do I want to attack this conversation? Do I want to, how's my introduction gonna go? What's my first question gonna be? Now, it'll go in different directions, but I mean, I think we're talking about when we role play, it's more just people you've just met, mostly. I mean, you could do your database as well, but a lot of it's just, you know, maybe a sign call lead. Like, where do I want to take this conversation? Do I want to just go off the cuff and just try to figure it out as I go, or do I have an actual plan written down? Hey, you called on this listing. I'm this person. You know, good talking to you. You know, and then ask a question like, you know, how can I help you, or where, you know, what interests you in this house? I don't know. Whatever the script is, take it down. You want to find if they have if they're working with an agent, if they have a lender, if they're pre-approved,
Motivation.
you know, and you just have your game plan, so you can go down the list and check all of those.
So with the scripts, you'll see it pretty much, like you mentioned, you have a game plan, you know the questions they ask. So you know that basically, once you get all this information, you know whether, is this somebody I wanna work with? Is this somebody I wanna pass along to somebody else? Is this person motivated? Because the last thing you wanna do is hop in your car. I don't know about you, how much does gas cost now? Factor that is basically, if you're dealing with a bunch of people, you don't have scripts, and you're just driving from point A to point B to point C and whatever, and you chose not doing scripts is a choice also. So you choose not to do scripts, and you're just driving around.
Another
wasting
thing
your
about
time.
scripts is what I did when I first started. I role played every day for about 5 years, and the best part about scripts, honestly, is finding the top, like, people that are way ahead of you. Like, that was amazing for me, because I was in the business for a year, 6 months. I sold like 2 homes, and then I'd be networking, and then I'd get on the phone with somebody who's sold 100 homes a year for 20 years, and I'm like, holy moly, like just even talking to them, and it's just relationships, build relationships. I know you do a lot of referrals.
Yeah.
That's how relationships start. And can't finding somebody, don't use that as an excuse. Facebook groups.
Yeah.
You say,
There's tons of
there's Facebook groups with 10,000 agents in them. Hey, I want a role play partner for 9 o'clock Eastern on Monday morning, or every morning. You'll get 1,000 people saying, I can do it, I can do it, I can do it.
Here's another thing,
So
we have a lender here also, you can also role play with your lender.
There
If
you
you're
go.
working with a lot of buyers, who better than talk to with your lender? Hey, can I role play with you 15 minutes? Here's the other thing, when you role play, make sure you figure out what the role play is about. There's no time for chit chat, how's your day, how are your kids, you don't have time for that. You get to the point basically. If you're role playing, we're working with buyers, I'm trying to schedule more buyers consultations. So I'm playing the role as the agent, you be the buyer. And you can tell them, what level do you want this? You want it hard? You want it medium?
Yeah, how many rebuttals
And
you
a,
want,
and
how
a
much
good role play
pushback,
partner
how
will
much
really pick you
resistance.
apart.
Yeah, and that's the whole thing. Do not get discouraged basically if they pick you apart, because that's how you get better. If they keep giving you softball stuff, you're not gonna improve.
But I think we're focusing on the word script and role play a lot. I think everyone's kind of like questioning it. The script, it's just simply an outline to follow so you don't get lost in your conversation.
Say
At
that
least
one more time, one more time.
in my opinion, it's an outline to follow so you do not get lost in your conversation. Because it's very easy, everyone in this room, I'm gonna assume, and I think I'm right, when you sit down with someone, at the end of the day, it's about sales. You're trying to close a transaction. You're gonna be hit with rebuttal after rebuttal after rebuttal after rebuttal. The market's not good, the timing's not right, my wife isn't here to talk with us, someone passed away in the family. The script and the role play, like they were saying just before, helps you realize and learn and hear every possible rebuttal. And at the end of the day, everyone should be knowledgeable enough to sit down with someone. Selling, you guys don't sell. You guys are providing information and knowledge. You're advising. I always say, if someone's a salesman, that's not right. If you're a salesman, that means you're shoving something down someone's throat that they don't need. You guys are not shoving a service down someone's throat that they don't need. You're providing an amazing professional service to help them succeed in their goals. So you have to be able to answer every possible question. And I think I wouldn't get hung up on the word script. It's an outline that if you feel you start drifting left or right because the conversation starts going in a different direction, it's just something especially the people that are in their infancy stages, it's something to grab back onto. And I think,
I'm glad you said that.
and Evan said it doesn't sound like me. Some people said when I read the script, you're right, it's not. There's 13, 14, 15 people in here, we all wrote a script, it's all gonna be different. And when I give mine to Evantz, he's gonna read it, it's gonna sound like me. It will evolve in time into him. But at the end of the day, I think the goal is gonna be that you close the deal. That's the most important thing.
Not just close the deal, but get the appointment, that's the most important thing.
Or
Get the
appointment.
appointment so you can close the deal. And then, you wanna check people's, let me rephrase that. You wanna make sure when you're having conversations with people, you wanna get appointments, but you also wanna verify, is this somebody I should be working with? What stage are they in right now? So with the scripts, with the dialogue, you'll ask the important questions to see where they are. Is this somebody I should be showing houses to? Or should I have them sit down with the lender, go over their financing? So that way you don't have any hiccups, like, all right, great, I'm showing you houses, like, oh, I'm not ready, I don't have enough money. You wanna avoid all that stuff. The scripts, pretty much like you said, are a blueprint, a dialogue that shows you, okay, other people have used this formula, I can use this formula also, so I can avoid wasting time showing people houses that I have no business showing them houses to. Or better yet, sitting with a seller who's not ready to sell. If you're asking the right questions, you find out what their motivation is. If you sit down and you have an appointment with the seller, which I've done in the past, in the beginning, I didn't ask the right questions. I went to a listing appointment, got there, and I didn't ask the right questions. Found out that pretty much the person I was speaking to is not the decision maker. It's basically a relative. The decision maker is not even at the meeting. So I wasted my time researching, showing up, and sitting there having a. Had I asked the right questions, I would have found out, okay, great. So will all the decision makers be there at our meeting at such time? Well, no, they're not gonna be. Okay, great. So why don't we do this? When do you think all the decision makers will be there? And what are their answers? All right, so why don't we do the meeting when everybody's there, as opposed to me showing up and wasting time?
Nothing
Because
efficient.
if I go there and I'm
Makes
sitting
sense.
down with you and your husband and wife, me telling you whatever my presentation is, you can't really convey the way that it's supposed to be to your wife, because it's gonna be lost in translation. Or I'm gonna have to do another meeting to sit down with her and whoever other decision maker is. If you get everybody there at the same time, you most likely get them to sign. And if you gotta ask questions, you can't just blurt out stuff, you gotta ask questions. One of the scripts that I saw I thought was useful, this is from Tom Ferry. This is, you can use this for people who are at an open house, or people that you have their information a while ago and you need an excuse to call them. You can send this as a text, and I would say send this as a text and a phone call, a video as well. If I found you the perfect home and it wasn't on the market, would you wanna know about it? And you shut up. As agents, we have a tendency of talking too much. Let it breathe, let it marinate for a while, let them hear what you're saying, like, wait, all right, so you wanna read this one more time and read it to Alex over there?
And role play?
Yeah,
If I found you the perfect home and it wasn't on the market, would you wanna know about it?
Yeah, of course.
All right, fantastic.
all right. And then you take it from there, basically, and then you.
Okay, great, fantastic. Give me your name and your number,
You already
and I'll
have
keep
the
in
name and
touch
number,
with
so
you, and blah, blah,
basically,
blah.
so why don't we do this, basically, since you wanna know about this, why don't we sit down and have a conversation and see which properties, which ones are actually gonna fit you and your family's needs? Does that sound like a plan?
Yeah,
Okay.
that's good. Like, he has a game plan, and
Yeah.
that's what I always tell the agents on my team. If you're doing an open house, don't just do it do it because you have a game plan. Like, when that person comes in, start finding your questions that are gonna find out where they are in the process. When are you looking to purchase a home? Have you just started the search?
Are you working with another agent?
Are you working with another agent?
You can rephrase that question to, have you signed anything, have you signed anything with an agent? Are you getting, do you have agent representation, whatever, basically, you figure out what wording you wanna use. There's millions of scripts out there. Find the scripts that speak to you, that make sense for you. I have Tom Ferry, Mike Ferry, and KW scripts up there, so you just find what works for you, and just, again, start practicing on a regular basis. Practice with another person, that's how you get better, because that person's gonna give you some critiques, and you'll know what to change. And if you're talking, I have a tendency when I'm nervous, I talk really fast, like I'm doing right now. I gotta remember, slow down. So when you're having a conversation, you slow down the way you're speaking, your rate of speech. The other important thing you should definitely know is the 4 personality traits. If you're talking to somebody who's a driver, they want you to get to the point, they don't want fluff. If you're talking to somebody who's an analytical personality, then they wanna know all the details, how long is this gonna take, what's the rates and all. They're gonna wanna know all the details about anything financial, anything with numbers, they wanna know all that stuff. If you're dealing with somebody who's an amiable personality, the person that basically is kinda high energy, they're all over the place, their hands are open like this, and you're talking to them, they're jumping from one subject to the next, you have to be the person to rein them in sometimes. They wanna know that you're listening to them, but you also gotta bring them back in. Basically, our subject is, we're going from point A to point B. Point B is basically you're selling this house and you're buying another house, so let's go through that plan one more time. It's great that you wanna show me your kids' pictures, but let's hold on to that basically until after our presentation's done, and then I'll gladly go through that with you.
And I think the whole purpose of this, that at least what I'm interpreting and understanding, is information. Information sells. The more information you get in your conversation with someone, the easier it's gonna be to wrap it up and get the listing or get to your goal with them. Information is key. So I think the script they're talking about is just having a natural, organic conversation and getting everything out of them. Everything.
Can I just say something? When you guys are lead genning, are you sitting or standing? All right, how many people are standing? I see you walking all the time, so you're usually standing, so. How many people are standing? Just raise your hand, be proud that you're standing. All right, how many people, when they're lead genning, are they sitting down? All right, so when you're sitting down, what's your posture like? Are you sitting down like you're actually having a fun conversation, or are you like more like this? The reason why I'm bringing this up is basically it comes through on the phone, because if you're just doing it just to, I have like 12 phone calls I gotta make. This is number 1. Oh my God, they're all gonna be like this. Yeah, sure, what? They're gonna feel that on the phone. So basically the energy that you provide on that phone call, that conversation, or face to face, it's gonna be the same outcome, basically. If they don't feel the energy from you, they're like, okay, well, I wanna get off this phone just as fast as you wanna get off this phone. Yeah, I have to go to the bathroom. If you show that you're energetic, and sometimes we don't feel like making phone calls, let's be honest. Nobody likes making phone calls sometimes, but I use this analogy to show
One
them.
does.
I like making phone calls.
Well,
Actually, yeah.
some
I
of
was
us-
gonna correct you. I love
some
it.
of us do, some of us don't.
I love it because I'm like, you know what? It's I'm talking to people and I get paid really well for it. And
That's-
how could that? What's I don't know.
That's
How
the
could you not
point.
like it? I don't know.
That's the point
That's
I
just
wanted to
me.
make, is pretty much, if you have that day that you just don't feel like making phone calls, I always
Well,
tell
what I wanted to,
Shauna-
I wanted to add to what
Hold
you
on,
were saying.
let me finish this up. Alright, so if, when you're those days you don't wanna make phone calls, you wanna door knock, you do one of these, open up the wallet. If there's nothing coming out, guess what, that's your motivation, get your ass on the phone. Yeah, I carry a wallet, there's nothing in it, but.
He's giving his age away.
Yeah.
No, but what I wanted
Yeah.
to say is when he was, we've been talking about words, and my favorite stat is 93% of communication is body language and tonality. 7% is the words you say. So it's really about, like he said, the energy you bring to the conversation. That's the most important thing. So yeah, you can easily just win somebody over in that first
Yep.
first line when you're just calling somebody for the first time. They're immediately going to judge you if you have a monotone tonality or you're not excited to call them. Then they're going to be on guard. But if you really present yourself well with that initial line, they're gonna open up. So that's key. And like I said, body language. You might want to stand. You might want to sit up straight. Tonality, enthusiasm. That's what really sells.
I would say psych yourself up, basically get in front of the mirror, just shake, do what you gotta do to psych yourself up. I'm gonna do this, I'm gonna get, whatever your goal is for that day, I'm gonna get 1 appointment, I'm gonna get 2 appointments, I'm gonna get 1 listing, I'm gonna get 1 seller appointment. Regardless, you get the appointment, you'll decide later on if I'm going on that or not, because when you ask the pertinent questions like, yeah, this person's not motivated, they're looking for $2 million basically, and they live in XYZ area, this is never gonna happen. But if I can have a conversation with them throughout the time, and find out what their motivation is, maybe we can whittle down to see, okay, let's see if this realistically, do they have motivation to sell? And do they have a plan to go from X to Y? And you have to ask questions. If you don't ask questions, you're not gonna get the information. Sometimes you have to ask several questions different ways, the same question different ways in order to get the answer. And you have to dig, Alex Marin told me this one a long time ago, and it always stuck in my head. Ask 3 questions deep. So whatever conversation you're having, they give you an answer, tell me more about that. You have to be curious about whatever they're telling you, whatever their motivation is, whatever their goal is. You have to be, you're gonna have to be nosy. Tell me more about that. What's your plan for that? You ask those kind of questions. You'll ask those questions, you'll get the answer that you're looking for, and you keep asking more questions until you have a clear picture of what they're looking for, what their goal is, and what their motivation is. Once you have all that stuff, you arm yourself with all that information, you can go further with that as opposed to, okay, well, they wanna buy something, I don't know how much they qualify for, I don't know what the down payment is, I don't even know if they have a pre-approval, but I'm gonna go show them random houses anyway. Which is better use of your time, asking better questions, finding out what they qualify for, having your loan officers a vet to make sure, can they afford this? And if, the other thing with the pre-approvals, the qualifications, when you do this in the right manner, the right way, you'll find out, basically, can they buy at this price range? We'll bring them back to reality. You said you wanna be in town X.
That's for sure.
Based on the prices that you can afford, that's not gonna be here, but my job is to be a problem solver. You're not gonna find that here in this location, but you can find this in these other areas. Are you open enough to listen to what other areas are available in your price point? And let them make the decision what they wanna do.
Yeah, and also don't put so much pressure on every conversation. You know, just have a lot of conversations.
Yeah.
And that's what I do. Just have a lot of conversations. No pressure on each conversation. You're just you're just having a
Building a
you're just
relationship.
exploring the relationship. Like, where are you in the process? If you come from a place of helping, I think it all starts with that. I'm calling you to help you, and no matter who you are, and I'm just gonna ask great questions. I'm gonna answer questions when you have questions for me, and then I'm gonna figure out how to move this relationship forward. You're not ready yet? Great, I'll call you in 3 months. If you're ready now, let's meet. Yeah.
I think we're on top, because the relationship for the service that you guys provide and also what we provide as a bank, sadly, the people don't need our service every day, week, month, or year. So you gotta forge a great relationship, and they may not be using you today, but you'd be surprised how many times they call or
Yep.
shoot a text a year later, 2 years later.
Yep. I mean,
So that's
I always
really
tell agents
important.
that most of my business comes from people that I met 3, 4, 5 years ago.
Yep.
Just because it's very rare you're gonna find somebody, you meet them today and they're selling tomorrow. And it opens up the whole world when you're looking for somebody that's gonna do something in the next year or 2 or 3. I don't mind keeping in touch with you, like you said, building that relationship.
Yeah.
And it's actually easier when you have somebody that's 2 years out versus tomorrow. Because tomorrow now I gotta like figure out how to, win you over without a relationship. If I can follow up with you for 6 months and then you're ready, I built a lot of trust. I built a lot
Clearly, you
of.
did an amazing job with the text,
There
calling
that's
you back.
yeah, exactly. They love that.
Sure.
Just the fact that you kept calling when you said you weren't going to call you in a month, and then you called. That's rare in today's
Yeah.
day and age. People just don't follow up.
People don't follow up, you put everything on your calendar, on your CRM, whichever one you're using. Don't ask me which is the best CRM, the one that you're using is the best CRM. As long as you're using it, that's the best one. It doesn't matter which brand, just use it, focus on that. The other thing I would say, you have your phone, there's a million people on your phone that you're not calling. Start thinking about all the people I'm not calling, some other agents calling or talking to them right now. How much business am I actually losing by not contacting these people, staying on a regular conversation? You should get used to calling the people that you already know, that already like you, that you've had a relationship with at your previous job, your school, whatever. Simple conversation, we're gonna role play right now. Carl, ring, ring, ring. You're at work right now, so pick up the phone. Ring, ring, ring. Carl, how you doing? I know you're at work right now. This is a 2-minute conversation. Do you have 2 minutes for me right now?
Sure.
All right, Carl, I know you bought a house a while ago, so I wanna let you know, I don't know if you're familiar, have you seen what's happening in the real estate market at this moment?
I heard a couple of things about the interest rates and the feds and
Whatever you actually heard, they said about the interest rates.
that it's dropping, it may come down some more before the year's over.
I'm great. See, this is why I love talking to you, Carl. You always got your finger on the pulse of stuff like that. I wouldn't be doing a great job as an agent if I didn't reach out to you to give you that kind of information. But since you already have that information, is there anybody else that you know in your database that I can talk to that would appreciate information like you have right now?
Not at the moment, I think.
I know I'm calling you out of the blue right now. By the way, since I have you on the phone, how's everything going on with the house?
It is good.
Great. All right, so you've been there for how long now?
2 years.
2 years? All right, you know what? I think it might be time for me to send you an equity report to see how much money do you have accumulated since you moved into the house. Would you be interested in something like that?
Sure.
All right, great. What's your email address? Is it still such and such at abc.com?
Yep.
All right, great. So you're gonna get this later on in the day. I'm gonna send you a digital copy and then I'll send you a physical copy later on today. Would that be okay?
Yeah.
All right, awesome. In the meantime, when I'm dropping the physical copy, I'm gonna leave you a couple of my business cards. Because I know as we're having this conversation, it's gonna be staying fresh in your mind. And I'm pretty sure at some point during the day, something real estate is gonna come up and I want you to remember me. Is that a deal? All right, great. Carl, have a great day. I'll talk to you later. I'll send the thing right now. How many of you think you can do something like that? Raise your hands proud, please. This is interactive. Higher, please. How many people are gonna make phone and make a considered effort basically to reach out to their database? All right, so if you're allergic to money, then you might wanna give it your license now. How many people are gonna call their database? Raise your hand proud. Proud. For the ones that are not raising their hand, basically, what's the reason that you don't wanna call your people? The people who didn't raise their hands, what's the reason? You're raising their hand?
my shoulder.
He's raising, he's elbow up, I can see.
How do you feel if somebody else is calling your people and making money when you could have?
Beef.
Say that one more time, please.
That's beef.
All right. So you literally have the people there, you have the tools basically to make millions of dollars, and you're choosing not to. So my question to you is why? Why don't you want to call those people? Do you feel that you're bothering them? This is the interactive part. This is where you guys are going to give me some feedback. Hello?
Can I say something?
Yes.
In my experience, if I'm following up on my people,
Mm-hmm.
I do not always speak business.
Okay.
It's, if your first conversation, they said they're not ready right now. My second conversation with them, I am not talking business. I give them a friendly call as a friend.
Okay.
I talk about the family, how you guys doing?
So you're using the Ford method?
Yes, because they already said they're not ready. But the fact I'm on the phone with them, if they are ready, they're gonna tell me right away.
Well, I would say use the Ford method, which is What is the fourth method stand for again? It's
Family,
family,
occupation,
occupation, recreation,
When you
and
follow
drive.
up, people get upset sometimes if you are always mentioning business.
Well, if it's
As I
somebody,
told you, I'm not ready.
it really depends on who you're speaking to. If it's somebody that you already know, you've done business with, or somebody from your past, you just wanna remind them that you're in real estate. So you're asking them on the phone call, this is a business call, do you have a minute for me?
Here's what I would also
Yeah.
do, a good thing for that is, you could also, when you're interacting with them, or when you're closing, or whatever, say, hey, listen, just wanna get your permission. What I do is I always like to keep in touch, because 2-3 years from now, you might not remember me, I don't blame you, I'm not that memorable. But I just wanna remind you with a quick call, maybe every 3 to 6 months, whatever, that I'm just gonna let you know I'm still in the real estate business, and if you need any help at all, I wanna help you, because you've been a wonderful client. That's it, done. Now they know, hey, remember I said I was gonna call you every 3 months? I wanted to be a person of my word. I'm here, I'm doing business, you need anything, let me know. I think if you even just do that, he went above and beyond, but I think if you just place the call and say, hey, I'm still here, I'm working, if you need anything, the rates are going down, it's a great market, or you know anybody,
Just
Oh,
let me
give them
know.
basic information.
Yeah,
You wanna
give
do something of
Yeah.
a reason to call, but I think,
I
you
also
know.
call them like holidays, like
Yes.
a major holiday, not
Yeah, right?
every
Yeah.
holiday. I call for Easter, I call
Whatever
for Christmas.
whatever the holiday.
You don't call for Halloween?
No.
You probably should, because guess what? A lot of realtors are not doing that. That makes you stand out.
I drive around with my car and I share snacks for Halloween.
That's
I
a
don't
great
know
idea.
why.
That's a
Can
great
I give
idea.
you guys a piece of free advice? If you guys want it, whatever you choose to do with it, it's up to you. How about you come up with a list, you call your database, let them know. If you know that you have specific clients that have small kids, how many people are parents here? Raise your hand. They have small kids right now. Alright, so you probably have or had a list at some point of stuff that parents should be mindful of during Halloween, right? If not, you create one. You use something on ChatGPT or whatever. Create a list of things that you should be, as a parent, what you should be mindful of, how to keep your kids safe, your house safe, your pets safe, whatever it is. Make a list, you call your database, you text your database, you make a videotape of that database, whatever the case is. Let them know, hey, I have this list of 13 things you should be aware of during the holiday season that'll keep you and your family safe. Would you be interested in something like that? Oh, wow, that's great. Yes, I would. Okay, do you want me to send you a physical copy in the mail, or would you like me to drop it off? Or would you like me to send it to you via email?
Just out of curiosity, sort of, how many of you guys prospect during the day, every day, or set a time block to call? Everyone, or? Oh, you don't. Okay.
Alright. Do you see when you're prospecting a lot, basically, do you see the efforts of your prospecting? Do you see something coming out of it? Do you see appointments coming from it? I know you do.
It takes some time. Sometimes it gets fake, it doesn't happen like right away.
Yeah,
Some days it's not ready, so you have to keep on nurturing.
What's the rebuttal that you're hearing the most, you think, when you guys are calling? Is there one that stands out more than others?
Recent time has been the election.
The election. Okay. So we get that too on the banking side. Everybody has paralysis by analysis. Everybody is a day trader of the interest rate now, and everybody's waiting. What I see from the outside looking in, because I do go to the open houses, and someone said earlier, or you were saying earlier, how everyone's being outbid and the price goes well past what they set the price at. I'm seeing it firsthand. And what I've been telling people is, you have this paralysis by analysis. The most important thing is to secure the asset. I'm gonna give everyone in this room inside information. It doesn't matter who's in the White House, Democrat,
Say that one more
Republican.
time. Louder.
It doesn't matter who's in the White House, Democrat, Republican. It doesn't matter. They don't want any of us at their parties, I can tell everybody that, to start. Everything still has to get pushed through Congress. So if you don't secure your asset now and own a home, and the rates have trended in a
They
great
said they're gonna
direction.
lower rates, I
Two
think
more
another
times.
50 basis points next year, or by the end of the
Yeah.
year, another 100 next year.
But the
I mean,
basis
that's-
points went down the other day, a half a basis point. Our phones were ringing like crazy, and everyone said, well, I had 6%, does that mean I get 5.5%?
Rates didn't move that much.
No, what that simply means is that affected your CDs at the bank, your car loans, credit card debt, things like that. It will have an effect on the interest rates for homes in the near future. It'll start representing on the interest rate for the people, but it's not going to 4.5. So 6%, 6.25%, 5.75%, does it make a difference monthly? It does. Not enough mathematically that you shouldn't own the home, because in a year from now, you got these guys calling every day, outpacing everyone in the room. Those people that want to buy a house or sell their house, more importantly, the people buying, when they go to buy, all the people that were day trading the rate, there's another 10 million people that want to jump in the pool party with everyone else. So now I go to open houses. I was in Deer Park the other week, 46 families showed up. Wow. 46. They listed the house for $615. The house, they have an accepted offer. We're doing the loan, $750.
No.
I thought it was like a war. The people were coming through the front door like they were taking us over. I had to become a realtor. They had a realtor and 2 assistants showing the house. There was a crowd of people waiting. I grabbed the flyer and I'm walking around telling them it's gas heat, the roof was replaced 3 years ago, and I went through the spiel to help them.
That's part of our job, I feel like, to be the boots on the ground, and like somebody like you're saying might say something like that and you say, I understand why you might feel that way. I just wanna be, you know, I wanna tell you about what I'm seeing or hearing. They're bidding wars on homes, the rates are gonna be going down, you know, and well, if to buy, you know, secure the house, because when the rates do go down, you can refinance and the prices are gonna go up. And if it's a sell, then, you know, it's gotta be their motivation. What is your motivation? You know,
So waiting for
are you
the
really
election?
ready to do this, or are you just, you know, waiting? And that's fine if you're waiting, because I'm gonna still keep in touch with you, but, you know, what are you trying to accomplish?
Usually with some buyers, some sellers, money talks always. So if you ask them, would you prefer to pay less now or pay double in a couple months? How would you feel about buying the same exact house, same square footage, and paying more for it? Oh, I wouldn't like that at all. Well, that's what you're doing by waiting. If you have the assets, you can buy it now, as opposed to waiting. Then that's what you're doing.
And that's where the questions come into, do they have the assets?
Yeah.
Can they do it? Maybe they can't. Maybe they're still saving and stuff like that.
And if
Put
the
them in touch
rates,
with a, you know,
if the rates go that low that everybody's hoping and dreaming of, you could always refinance your home.
oh,
Always.
Here's the
You
other
know,
thing.
And you're in control of it now.
The other thing, when they're waiting too long, is more competition for them. So do you think when the rates drop to whatever it was during the pandemic, do you think a lot more people are gonna come into the market? Yes. What do you think that means to you? Don't you think that's gonna be more competition? Yes. So does that mean that you're gonna be paying extra for the house now, not just because of the rate, but now there's gonna be a bidding war now, so you're gonna be paying more to get the house? How do you
And
feel?
I think that what I just asked, kind of what you're saying, kind of circles us right back to role playing,
Yeah.
right? What's the biggest rebuttal you hear? How do you address it? Be really sharp, like a sharp knife on the phone. And you guys, sometimes when you're calling, you only have one opportunity to impress them with knowledge and really start securing that relationship. Because as soon as you hang up, he's calling.
Yep.
yeah.
And just
You
remember
gotta
that.
win them over.
You
You
know,
gotta
so
win them over, get them
you
5
gotta,
minutes
you
from
gotta
the
get
boss.
hooks in people right away, start building that relationship, and be able to answer their questions.
Yeah, I've gotten in touch with a lot of people, back to the follow-up, that say, hey, listen, you sound good, but this guy's been following up with me for a year and a half. Like, I would feel bad, you know, not working with him. And I'll have my objection handlers, but like, that goes a long way, just that past relationship.
I'm glad you wrote that. My friend's a realtor. That's great, but I'm here with you right now, so obviously you reach out to me. So clearly there's some doubt with you working with a friend. With me, if it doesn't work out, you fire me, there's no harm, no foul, but basically, or how comfortable you're gonna feel basically with your friend knowing all your financial business. And if you wanna fire them, isn't that gonna be awkward for you? Like, yeah. It won't be awkward with me, basically. If you fire me, you fire me. We keep it moving. You go your way, I go my way. So which is more comfortable for you, working with a friend, not knowing an exit plan for that, or working with me when I have the exit plan, here's the form that you can sign at any point. It's really about your comfort, which one would you prefer? And if I went a bit gritty, I probably shouldn't record this, but anyway, let's look at our stats. Let's look at our stats. Your friend, basically, how long have they been in the business? Oh, wow, they just got their license? Okay, great. I've been doing this for X amount of years. Here's my track record. And you said they just started, so they don't have a track record to start with. So this is a big transaction for you. Do you want to give it to somebody who just started? Or do you want to have somebody who's experienced? Let's rewind for a second. You're going for an operation. Are you going to go with the doctor who just got their license? Or are you going to go with the doctor who's performed a million surgeries and is a specialist on this.
We get that.
How do you wanna operate?
At the bank, we
Yeah.
get that a lot, pre-approvals, we wanna try to compete for the business. Well, my uncle's a loan officer. I'm sure he's great, I don't knock anyone, but more people spend more time online trying to save money on an airline ticket when they go on vacation than ensuring they have the best possible pricing on their loan for the next 30 years. And I tell the people, I'm very straightforward, I pride myself on authenticity. Look, you have a family member, no problem. No, there's no commitment, no cost, no obligation. I'm gonna just put numbers in front of you to compare. I want you to compare it to 10 other ones, it's okay. That's how confident I am in the level of professionalism we have, the service, and our pricing. Contour Mortgage, I mean, those of you who know us, I'm hoping everyone knows us. If you Google it, Garden City, we got Best of Long Island 8 years in a row. Nominated and won. We're not winning that award because we're giving terrible service and the worst pricing out there, so. The competition is great. Tell the people that, it's okay. You have a family member, let me see what I could do. This is what I do different. And at the end of the day, if you're not the best for them, if Contour's not the best fit for a referral or someone that is sent over to us, it happens. I part as a gentleman, we part as gentlemen. This is about them saving money and getting the best possible service. And if everyone here and everyone in the room, if we're not the best, it's no hard feeling. I would part as a gentleman and we expect for you to go. It's about you and your family saving money. It's not about the bank making money or the realtor making money. So that's something else you need to, put in front of those people and ensure them that, you're out to compete. You're there to get them the best possible service, make them the most amount of money or save them the most amount of money. And if you're not that person, no hard feelings. You could remain friends or stay in communication.
Yeah,
You're gonna part ways. That's
definitely,
it.
you don't wanna burn any bridges, so if they do decide to work with somebody else, great, I wish you well working around. If, leave it at that, basically, I'm always available, if you ever need anything, feel free to reach out to me.
Good luck with him.
Yes, I try not to say it like that, it really depends on who it is. So if they work around and basically it doesn't work out, and if this does happen, sometimes basically if I'm giving out information, I'm petty, you know this about me. So if I know that basically I've been trying to get this deal for a while, it didn't work out, and I'm door knocking, and guess what, I got the listing across the street. You know what's happening, I'm door knocking again, I got this listing across the street, I'm selling this one, I'm doing my mega open house, I got a bunch of people here, we got offers, and now that person's sitting there like, no offense, Rob, they're like looking at like, well, you got 1 million people in this
You
house.
made the wrong decision.
Maybe I made the wrong decision, I'm like, oh, did you? Yeah, I think you did. I'm like, hey, how'd you get so many people here? Oh, this is the track record that I mentioned what I do when I get the listing. This is what I actually do. I wasn't bullshitting you. This is what I actually do. I do door knock, I do make phone calls, I do text, I do videos, I do all that stuff. I do a lot of other stuff which I can't talk to you about because you're not my client. So if you were my client, I would talk to you about that stuff.
But I think also
I'm
knowing all these objection handling and everything, it's from my perspective, it just moves the needle a little bit more in your favor. Like you might have to say it 5-10 times to somebody, and you get one more piece of business. We all could use one more piece of business, So it's not about. Don't get psyched out where it's like, this is magic words, and every time it's gonna work. It might work 1 out of 10. That's fine because I'm having a lot of conversations, and if I get 5 more listings in a year, that really moves the needle just from saying the right thing. But I might have to say it 100 times to get the 5 more.
Have you guys seen, I'm sure with your experience, I've seen it firsthand. We compete for the business, we don't get it. No hard feelings, we part ways. What they were told, what they were promised is nothing what it turned out to be.
Oh, I've had that.
And they come back.
Yes.
And in the 11th hour, Angelo and Billy are scrambling, and they get it done because we have in-house underwriting. They are senior vice presidents of Contour. They're able to get it done, and the people applaud us for helping and saving a deal because something didn't work out. A appraisal didn't come in right. Some sort of stipulation. They can't get over the hurdle, and it was their family member. But they come back, and I'm sure you guys have seen that. Someone promises the world. They're not professional enough to sit in a listing appointment and say, okay, I've done the comps, I know what the area is gonna call for, I know what the house could sell for, I could sell it within 30 days, and they allow the person sitting across the table from them to dictate what they're gonna list it at and put their emotion in. Everybody's house is worth $1 million, doesn't matter where it is, plus. you guys as a professional say, well, here's all the supporting data. I'm sure Ron does it. These guys I'm gonna go out on a limb. They're not gonna take your listing and try to sell the house for $1.5 million when it's supposed to be listed at $925,000.
No, I
They've
don't
worked
work
too
like that.
hard on their reputation, their name. They're not gonna have that thing sit and get stale, take it off the market, on the market. They're gonna part ways. And those people will be promised by someone else, sadly. They're gonna try to sell the house for a lot more. It won't sell. And then when those people get, hit with a little bit of reality, I'm sure because they parted as gentlemen, those people are gonna shoot that text
Not only
in the 11th hour saying, hey,
not only
maybe you
does
can
that
help.
happen, we sometimes basically, if it didn't work out, they chose to go a different route. We stay in contact with them regardless, and
Mhm.
most of the time, those people refer us. I had one guy, I parted ways with him. He wanted to get a for sale by owner. The for sale by owner was adamant they were not working with this buyer if they had an agent. But I was still coaching him, cause I am who I am. Want to make sure he gets the house. Look, I'm not gonna stand in your way. Would I do that now? Probably not. But basically back then, I had to think of the bigger picture. I want to keep this guy close because he knows a lot of people. You have to also start making business decisions. But me helping this person, will it pay? I'm doing this because I want to help people, but basically will this pan out later on by doing this? Maybe I might take less of commission because basically I know that they're gonna put me in front of other people. So I make a concerted effort, basically, what am I doing here? Okay, I'm gonna give this guy some advice, and sure enough, he did get the house, he did buy the house. I can't tell you how many pieces of business over the years that I got from him, even though we didn't work together. I've gotten business from him, he's referred me to other business people, and, he was going through a divorce with that house, basically, we reached out to me, we were supposed to get the listing, but the wife decided to stay in the house, but I helped him basically with other stuff, so he's still continuing sending me business. The other piece.
So you called us about a refinance, right?
Yes, that was the one, you know exactly what I'm talking about. Yeah, so.
Actually, I don't, I was.
No, you do know.
Oh, I do, okay.
Yeah, I'm not gonna say the client's name,
Okay,
because I am
we don't-
recording
we
this.
don't-
The other thing I was gonna say is, a lot of us have orphan business that we should be tapping into. Raise your hand if you know what an orphan is in real estate.
What is this?
Orphan,
Orphan and real estate.
yeah. Alright, so Ron is the listing agent, you're representing the buyer. We're at closing, you got your check, and you're ghost. And Ron basically is a great agent, so basically he's putting you in your database now, he's staying in contact with you. A week, 2 weeks go by, Ron actually goes to visit you at the house that you just purchased through him. Hey, congratulations on your house, I happen to be in the neighborhood because I was door knocking, and I know that you're probably moving in stuff right now, and I have some, box, tape, whatever you're gonna give that's useful to the client. The client might go, wow, my agent, I don't remember their name, we just got a check, they just disappeared, I've never heard from them. But this guy came by, dropped off a pizza pie, whatever. I've gotten a lot of business from the orphans, because basically the agents get the check and they disappear. Somebody told me this one, I'm gonna definitely do this more. When you have the listing, whichever side you're on, doesn't really matter. If you're representing the buyer or you're representing the seller and you're working, the buyer basically is working with an agent, maybe leave an extra bottle of wine in the refrigerator. Maybe put a little note, congratulations on your house, put your business card and whatnot. Don't worry about the other agent, they're probably not thinking about that.
No,
They
it's
probably,
funny about us.
they probably forgot to even bring something for that client.
And that was, not to cut you, one of the events
Yeah.
we were at, I think maybe you said it, and I looked it up, it's true, you could Google it. 17% of people that do a real estate transaction with a agent go back to the same agent.
Yeah.
To me, that's very alarming. That's an
Yeah.
alarming statistic, like,
Most of the
what
agents
is
don't follow
going
up.
wrong
They're
that?
not following up.
And what's
Ethics
going wrong
heavily-
is they don't remember their name 10
Yeah,
years
exactly
later.
what you were saying. The one guy left the closing, the other guy stayed. So you guys have to somehow brand your name in their brain and
It's
your
not,
number.
it's not just gifts, it's basically showing that you're there, you're giving them
Yeah.
vital information,
Sure.
what's going on in the neighborhood. Just letting them know, basically, October's around the corner, here's some activities in October that are happening in this area you probably weren't aware of. You can easily Google this stuff, and just send them a list. Hey, I happen to be door knocking, I'm letting people know about what the rates are, if you're door knocking with a lender, I would suggest you guys do that also, door knock with a lender. If they have mortgage questions, you have your lender right there that can answer them. I would bring whatever paperwork that you want, or whatever information you want, or just collect their information. And if you say, like he said, if you say you're gonna follow up, send them information, follow up, send them that information. Hey, I got a newsletter that I'm working on, and I'm actually putting together all the stuff about this community, and I also have a list of all the stuff that's coming up for next month for Halloween, if you celebrate Halloween, or just stuff in the community. Would that be something of interest to you? Shake your head. Shake your head.
Yeah.
Okay, great. So what's your email address?
XYZ.
Alright, when you ask a question, like you want their email address, you want their phone number, stop talking. Alex Barron taught me this one, and I use this a lot, and it does work. You ask the question, and you don't say a word, and just pretend like you're writing, just waiting for them to give it to you. I don't feel comfortable giving it to me. Like, they'll feel guilty at some point, like, all right, it's XYZ, blah, 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 blah. If you want to sweeten the pot, well, I can't text you this because there's a lot of information. Well, it's great. If you don't want it, I'm sending it out to a bunch of people in the area. A lot of people are asking for this, so if you want this, let me know. I'll send you an email as well. But if you don't, that's fine. Oh, a lot of my neighbors want this? Yeah. So what's your email address? 123 Main Street. People have this fear of missing out also, so if you're giving value or you're showing that you're giving value to the neighbors, maybe you're like, you know, I'm curious, I want that information also. If you're giving it to everybody else, I want in on this as well. What's the secret? I'm like, okay, well, what's your email address?
XYZ.
Yeah, you write it down and you put it in your database and do what you gotta do. You guys have anything else you wanna talk about? Open houses, ask questions. Ask a lot of questions. They come into the door, how you doing? How did you find out about the open house? Let's role play this now. Since we're doing the open house, you're the lender. All right, so we're gonna pick up somebody, all right, you.
Yes.
All right, so how did you find out about the open house?
Oh, well, you know, I was walking around the neighborhood and I wanted to check it out.
Oh, great. So are you in the process of, you looking to purchase for yourself or for a family member, or just curious?
Curiosity.
All right, what do you think about, what are you curious about? About price range, neighborhood, what?
Price, features, all that stuff.
So it sounds like you are interested in possibly purchasing at some point.
I don't know if I had $1 million.
Well, what if I told you don't need $1 million to purchase? Would that be something of interest to you?
If my dad doesn't kill me.
So it sounds like your dad is helping you with the transaction?
I'll have to let him know all the details. before
Okay.
I-
Well, would you be interested, we're doing a home buying seminar, it's virtual, would that be something of interest to you? You don't have to leave your house, you're in your comfort, and we're gonna have a translator also for you to translate.
So you'd send me like a Zoom link or whatnot?
Yeah. We have options, you can come straight to our office, we're doing it one-on-one, or we can do it on Zoom, whichever you prefer.
Sure, either or.
Okay, so what's your email address? Okay, and your first name,
Jason.
last name, and the phone number?
Blah.
Okay, great. Most likely I already have all this information since they signed in already, but just in case, if I'm having a conversation and I'm putting this in my notes, that basically are interested in a seminar, they're interested in one-on-one buying, whatever, and I'll let my lender know that basically, and they'll have a conversation. All right, so Jason, would it be okay if I have my lender call you later on today, just to set an appointment, so we can have a conversation with your dad?
Sure, what's the lender's number?
Well, he's right here, so he's.
I'm here with, I'm at the open house with
Yes,
you.
yes.
I didn't even realize.
He's not my security guard, he's my lender.
I didn't realize I was at the open house, all right.
Yeah, he's actually thinking about numbers right now, how he can save you money, that's why he's off in the distance.
One thing you did, which is great, I always make sure I capture at least the number, because signing sheets and stuff like that, people always look to put incorrect information. So Jason, I heard you speak with the Evantz about curiosity and stuff like that. Are you currently looking to buy, like, within the next 3 months, 6 months, a year?
Oh, to be honest right now, not really. I just happened to stumble upon this open house and I'm just
So you just came in, you were wasting a little bit of time, had nothing to do today?
You know, it's nice to go out for a walk.
Okay, fair enough. Let me ask you, as far as pre-approving and stuff like that, and work, are you currently employed?
Yes.
So if you took the time to do an application at a later time, and we had buying power for you, or had you pre-approved to get a mortgage for, let's say, $500,000-600,000, what type of money are you or your father working with that you would have available for down deposit, closing costs, things of that nature?
I'll have to consult with him first to find out more information.
Okay. Why don't we do this? What's your dad's cell phone number?
Blah, blah, blah.
What I'm gonna do, if it's all right with you, I'm gonna reach out to him. I'm gonna let him know that I ran into you at an open house, that you were curious, you were looking around. And let me get a feel for exactly what the goal is, what type of home you're looking to buy, if you really are looking to buy. And what I'll be able to do, some very basic information, I'll be able to let your dad know, and you, what type of mortgage we could get for you, what type of rate, what type of program. And if the timing is right for you and the numbers work, we'll be able to get you into the house. Is that fair enough?
Sounds fair,
All
but
right, great.
I'm not sure if it's me or my father for it to say, maybe I'll do one better, maybe I'll try to see if any of my family wants to.
Case, I'm glad you brought that up. I was just about to ask you
We
that
always
question.
appreciate introductions, for sure, if there are other family members. And here's another thing to keep in mind, and this is why it's so important to talk to a bank. It's equally as important to know if you're bankable or if you're not bankable. If we run your numbers and it doesn't work out, at least we can give you a blueprint to follow, so that way we know in the very near future, we could actually get you a mortgage. So that's a great point that you brought up, family members. I would love to speak with them as well. We could do the application in your name. We could then talk about bringing on co-borrowers. If there is a credit issue, we could always get over credit issues with some different ideas that we have to help people. But I'll definitely reach out to your father and we'll see what we can do for you guys, to help you guys achieve your goals.
Can I just get your number?
Absolutely.
He's gonna give it to you towards the end.
I'm gonna actually, and here's another thing I do, guys, maybe different from everyone else. I never give my business card, never. You ask for my business card, I go, it's in the car, let me get it for you. What's your number? I'm gonna text you my digital card right now. As soon as I put your name and number, hey Jason, great meeting you at the open house in Selden. Feel free to call with any questions. I take a screenshot, I got your name and number, I send it. Then I give you my business card. Oh, you know what? You're walking out? I had one in my wallet, sorry, here you go. I never, ever, ever give my business card.
That's one of
I
the
take
best
your
points
number.
here today.
Yeah.
They already said, and this is my experience in my life, they said, no matter who you are, there is always something, one thing you can gain when you sit and listen to people.
Okay.
And that is something that I just picked up. I always
Oh,
give them my card.
That's one,
So thank you.
I never give. I'm
I-
at a wedding,
That was
that
really,
happens at
really,
weddings,
really
events,
good.
you have a card? No, if you're with your spouse, oh, do you have one of my cards? Oh,
Honey,
yeah,
it's
oh, I
in-
have
it's in
one in
my
my
car.
purse, so, well,
It's
we
my
wouldn't,
purse.
we wouldn't have one in our
really good
purse, but.
information.
Our person, we should.
Oh, I'm not
Oh,
even,
very
you
smart.
know, I heard Evans talking about an email. I don't even care about your email address. Obviously, it's different because
For
it's
me,
sending
yes.
information.
Yeah.
I just want your name and your number, and then I have you.
Mostly I do that too, the name and
Yeah.
number.
Name
Later
and
on, I
number
can
to me
get
is
an email
everything.
when I text
All right,
you.
can-
But that's
can-
if they ask for your card, but if they don't ask, do you not give out your card?
Well-
Because otherwise.
Well, here's what I do different. When I'm at an open house, for us, or again, my opinion, when we're at an open house, the most important thing is bringing added value or support for the agents to sell the home. That's number one. The mortgage is number two. We're there to support our relationship. It's about you guys selling the home. When people come in, I just simply welcome them. Welcome to the open house. My name is Demetrios. I'm with Contour Mortgage. That's it. You go in, you leave with Evans, you start roaming
Or
around.
at a wedding.
Oh, at a wedding. If I'm at a wedding and people say, what do you do for a living, or
No,
whatever.
they don't say that. You say, I'm a realtor. In other words.
Well, how does that come up? I'm a realtor.
it-
Unlike the DJs playing amazing music, you say, I'm a realtor.
No.
How do I
I
do?
find a way.
No, you have to have,
I
it
always
has to be a
find-
natural conversation.
I mean,
Yeah,
listen,
but-
everyone
yeah.
has success
Listen,
differently, for sure.
I'm just gonna say that, I
Look,
don't have a
if-
problem speaking with
if
people.
it works for you- if-
There is always some way to bring in real estate in any
I agree,
conversation.
I agree with you, but there has to be a natural conversation.
Well, of
But
course,
could you hold on one second?
Yeah.
Because we have run here for a few more minutes, I just wanna go over one last thing. Could you do a typical
I'll
call?
answer that as soon as.
Call that you have, basically, like, let's say you're calling a listing call. Can we have?
a follow-up or?
Yeah, follow-up, so let's have Jasmine. Jasmine's the potential seller. which is-
I spoke with her in the past,
Yeah,
right?
you spoke with her in the past.
Hi Jasmine, this is Ron with Keller Real Estate. We had spoke about 2 months ago. I know you said you might be looking to make a move put your home on the market maybe in the fall and make a move to Florida. Just checking in to see how those plans are coming along so far.
I'm still, thank you for calling. I'm still kind of iffy. I heard that the rates are gonna go down, so I probably wanna hold on until they really come down.
Okay. And so you're thinking about waiting until the rates come down. Any reason in particular you're thinking about that?
Well, I believe, it's gonna give buyers more flexibility to offering more for a home, so probably I can gain a little bit more.
Okay, great. And are you purchasing a home down in Florida when you do sell this?
I guess I need to, go over how much equity I have and see what I can do with it.
Well, that's a great point. Why don't we do this? Why don't we set an appointment for me to come by, give you an assessment on your home, take a look at it, and then we can tell you, how much we think we could sell it for. And then, if the numbers make sense, maybe you could do it sooner rather than later. And if not, we could always keep in touch until you're ready. So, when are you available to get together this week?
Maybe by Friday afternoon you can stop by.
Oh, I'll stop by Friday noon, and I'll call you before I head over to confirm.
No problem.
Do you guys feel you can do a call like that? Shake your heads, yes.
That's easy.
Alright, you guys gotta be more confident based that you can do this. Because if we can do this, you can do this also.
You know, from the opposite side of the phone, it's very, very funny that people can tell if you're confident or not.
Yes,
They can tell if you're smiling.
yes.
They can tell if you're unhappy. On the other side of the line, it's amazing how you can tell that.
I'm
if-
glad you
if
brought that up.
smart.
I'm glad you brought that up.
Listen to people every day, you know
Smart,
what I mean?
the operative word is
I had a
smart,
call from a
knowledgeable.
seller, she said, Leela, she just picked up the phone, a seller, called me, I don't have a listing, she gave it to her friend. So she called me up, she said, Leela, why are you not selling my house? I said, excuse me, I know who she was. I said, excuse me, what's your name again? I don't have you in my, in my records or in my database, so, I think you're speaking to the wrong person. And what's the name of your agent? I said, but you don't hire, she told me that's her friend. I said, you don't hire an agent because she's your friend, and then you're calling other agents to sell your house. It doesn't make sense.
How good of a friend is she?
Yeah. I said, you have my name and number. If it doesn't work out to your liking, please give me a call. I'll be happy to work with you.
And
I
just
have-
leave it at that.
This is, you're calling the wrong agent.
I've gotten a lot of people that have done that, they had their wrong agent,
Yeah.
they're calling me for advice, I'm like,
That's what I'm
look,
saying.
I would love to help you, but you should probably talk to your agent about that. Yeah, but I can't get them on the phone. Yeah, but that's who you hired.
That's the greatest thing. When you
My
hear
job.
they can't get somebody on the phone,
Yeah,
that's the greatest information you could ever
I'm
get.
like, then you're
I
gonna have
have
to make
had
a
that
decision.
experience a few times.
'Cause
Actually,
that's
on
what
really big houses.
brings
Like I
success
just,
to
just
the
a
other
couple of
side.
weeks ago, I got a call from a guy in Whitestone with a $4 million house.
Mhm.
And I give him all the paperwork, I sat with him, whatever. He said, I know you're one of the top agents in this neighborhood. I said, okay, thank you very much. You know, when I looked, I sat with him, we explained everything, I walked everything on his house, I was so prepared. You know, he used my information,
Yeah,
and I'm his cultural agent.
That's-
And I say to
that's
myself,
gonna happen.
he wanted to make sure he got the right information from a top agent, and then he went and hired his friend.
You know that saying that basically you get what you pay for, so if you take my information and you decide to work with a cheaper agent, then that's what you're gonna get, the cheaper agent, results. If you decide to work with me, you're gonna get, here's my results, this is how much I got my past clients, so if you want that result, great. If you wanna work with somebody who does less work, you're more than welcome to. I wanna work with people who wanna work with me.
But I have a feeling, in the next few months, that listing is mine.
If
The guy agent he hired
if you still
is
want it.
not selling that house.
If you still want it, that's the other thing, you gotta be prepared to walk away from some business also,
I
because
walked
some
away
business,
because it doesn't
some
make
business is
sense.
gonna be a waste of your time, a waste of your energy, and the most important thing that we don't have a lot of is basic time, so basically, you wanna make sure, whether you're working with a buyer, a seller, a renter, somebody who's leasing, whatever it is, make sure that this is gonna be, it's gonna be beneficial for your time, because you can't get that back. A lot of you have kids, you're gonna be missing baseball practice,
No, but
football
it
practice.
definitely
whatever.
means something, that she reached out to you is a true indication that she's not really that happy.
Yeah,
so.
the door's not
Right
closed.
away, you know what I
Alright.
mean?
So we're wrapping up right now, Pat, what was your question?
About the wedding, she was saying, like, to give her cards.
In general, just in
Yeah,
general.
I
Look,
mean,
if
look.
it works for you, it works for you. For me, I like to have a natural conversation, I'm just not gonna blurt it out, hey, I'm in real estate, and you're like, oh, great, another realtor, get away from me.
But you're assuming that that's what I do.
No,
like that.
I'm-
You
I'm
walk
not
up to
sa-
somebody
I'm not
and say,
saying
I am
you.
in real estate. Yes,
I'm
you
not,
are.
I'm not saying you, I'm
I
just
mean-
saying, for me, basically, I'll ask them a question, I usually don't bring up the realtor thing unless they bring it up first.
No, what I said,
I'll-
yeah, that's
I'll
what I
have a
said.
natural
Did
conversation.
the question,
No.
what I asked was,
In
did
any
they
of that,
ask
they
her?
ought to be talking about something, oh, I understand, well, I'm in real estate, so I understand what you're talking
Oh,
about.
you're on a.
If-
I
if you're having-
always bring up, there's never a time where you can't bring up.
But it all depends on the situation.
It depends on the
too,
situation.
You know what I mean?
But you gotta see what works for you.
What you were asking is if real estate was mentioned, how you said there's always a small opportunity at
Yeah.
any type of situation or event, that you could say you're a realtor, you're involved in real estate.
For
If
me-
that is the case, if it was me, I'm sorry to cut you
Go
off,
ahead, go ahead.
I would just ask very quickly, very organic conversation, like, what are they doing in real estate? What real estate? Are you looking for
Yeah.
an investment property? Are you looking for hard money? Are you looking for a multi-family building? What are they doing? They're looking to sell their first
Well,
home.
that's something that doesn't often.
So, yeah,
come
quick,
up.
quick
They're
one or two
doing
things.
Anytime I tell anybody that I'm in real estate, when we do have a conversation, when I ask them what they do for a living, then they'll tell me, and I'll tell them I'm in real estate, I'm a real estate agent, I work with sellers, blah, blah, blah. And I'm like, oh, so how's the number one question they usually ask is, how's the market? And I used to answer, it's great. That's the wrong answer. The right answer, go ahead. The right answer is basically, it really depends on what you're looking to do. Are you looking to purchase? Are you looking to sell?
Thank you, guys.
Are you looking to
You're welcome.
invest? Or whatever the answer is, you find out, you're gonna have, this is why scripts and role play is important. Because when you ask those questions, you know where to pivot and how to answer that question. Because if you say it's great, it might be great for buyers, it might not be great for sellers. If they're a seller, that might not be the appropriate answer to give them. So you find out what specifically they're looking, what kind of information are you looking for? And then you pivot to whatever your answer
I
is.
think, try what I said. You give your card because it's working for you, it's something you do, but before you give it, say, oh, whatever the real estate conversation was for a minute or less, whatever it was, say, oh, I could probably get you this or get you info on it. Let me give you my card. Actually, I don't, what's your number? Text